Hi students, Pete Estabrook here. So I just wanted to do a quick video on the activity of listening. So one thing that I've recommended in the history and appreciation classes that I teach is that you think about how you listen. Maybe try listening with your eyes closed. Maybe try listening just as an activity in itself. We often listen to music while we're walking or riding in the car. Some students even say that they listen to it while they're studying. I think you're really not listening much if you're doing another activity, but something sort of mundane and that doesn't require too much brain power, like washing the dishes. I think it's fine to probably listen doing something like that or walking, but I wouldn't take things up a notch so that your brain is over occupied with the activity and under occupied with the actual listening. It's nice to listen with someone else so you can talk about the music before, during, or after. Um, so those are just some general suggestions, and then some recommendations for who to listen to. Sometimes students just don't quite know who to listen to. They get out on YouTube and they're just randomly going from one thing to another based on the algorithms that seem to come up from YouTube, and you can come across a lot of stuff that's good, and some of it is maybe not quite the highest quality. So of course, as trumpet players, let's say just in the jazz idiom, we want to at some point listen historically, go back to Louis Armstrong, probably work in some Dizzy Gillespie, some Miles Davis, some Clifford Brown, Freddie Hubbard, of course, maybe a little Woody Shaw, some Donald Byrd, Lou Mitchell, Kenny Dorham. Those are some of my heroes just to start with. More modern players, maybe Alex Sipiagin, Randy Brecker, um, there's Tom Harrell. There's a whole host of jazz trumpet players to listen to. If you like classical playing, of course, Maurice Andre is one of the go-tos. Pierre Thibault has some nice recordings. Håkan Hardenberger, who was Pierre Thibault's student, that's a great guy to listen to. A lot of people nowadays listen to Sergei Nikiriakov. So there's a host of I like Craig Morris. Um, there's a host of classical players to listen to as well. If you're a player of another instrument, you're watching this because you're taking my jazz class or something. If you're a saxophone player, you absolutely need to listen to John Coltrane, Cannonball Adderley, Lou Donaldson, Charlie Parker, uh, Dexter Gordon, Lester Young, Coleman Hawkins, those types of saxophone players. If you play vibraphone, for instance, you probably want to listen to Terry Gibbs, Lionel Hampton, Gary Burton. Um, you know, there's a host of vibraphone players to listen to. Um, let's see, if you're a piano player, you probably want to check out, I don't know, somebody like Red Garland, Herbie Hancock, of course, um, Wynton Kelly. There's lots of greats, Chick Corea. Um, get in there and particularly, just like with the trumpet, you probably want to at some point explore more of the historical stuff, even go back to Jelly Roll Morton and people like that. Maybe even some of the stride players like Fats Waller or James P. Johnson, Willie the Lion Smith. Um, let's see, if you're a bass player, you definitely want to check out Paul Chambers, Ron Carter. There's nothing wrong with listening to some Jaco Pastorius, Stanley Clark. I mean, just start doing your research and make your way around the horn. Drummers definitely need to listen to Philly Joe Jones and, all of those sorts of guys, Art Blakey. Um, Elvin Jones, Tony Williams, Jack DeJohnette, but don't neglect the early players like Joe Jones that played with Count Basie. So let's see, we've hit piano, bass, drums, vibes, guitar players. Wes Montgomery, he's someone to check out. Kenny Burrell, of course, Tal Farlow. More modern players, maybe John Schofield, players like that. Let's see, who have we left out? Trombone players. Conrad Herrig comes to mind. J.J. Johnson, Slide Hampton. Um, you know, uh, maybe someone like Michael Davis even. So I think I've made it around the horn, so to speak. Um, I hope I haven't left anybody out, but that'll give you some starting places. Sometimes when I say go listen to some good music, younger students in particular don't know where to go. So maybe that'll give you at least a launch pad, and you can work from there. If you have a private teacher, it's excellent because they can help guide that listening activity and point you towards some good recordings. All right, take care.